What's going on, YouTube? It's Ro here, back with another video. I was kind of thinking earlier on my little lunch break about the 2020 to 2021 growing season and like what things I found in 2020, what tips at least, that I then applied to my 2021 garden and wound up being successful. I'm only going to give you a list of 5 of those things. That is not an exhaustive list, and this does not mean that these are things that you necessarily have to do. These are just things that I came across, I implemented, and they worked. I think I'm going to do them in the order of 5, 4, 3, 2, and then ending the video with my number 1 tip that I implemented last year. And that does not mean that one is more important than the other. All that means is that the tip that comes in at number 5 didn't make as big a change as the tip that comes in at number 1 in my garden this past year. Okay? So, that said, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and click that like button. Hit subscribe if you're interested.
Let the countdown begin. Number 5.
Confession time, guys. Every year at some point, I end up having to deal with blossom end rot on my tomatoes. I can tell you what I do. I get lazy. It's usually, just a matter of me not going out and taking care of the garden like I should. And I know that. And my plants suffer because of it. So, prior to last year, though, I had no way of watering my garden unless I was using my 5-gallon buckets, which was what I was doing. I had 2 of them, and I was carrying the water in and out of the house. It was heavy, it was cumbersome, and I just didn't feel like doing it all the time. So I ended up getting a friend to make me a rain barrel, and that helped out a lot. I dealt with a lot less blossom end rot than I normally do. So let me tell you what I plan on doing. I have been giving some thought as to how I can prevent even more of the blossom end rot that is, inevitable for me, apparently. I'm going to get a second rain barrel made, and I will continue to combat the blossom end rot using garden lime. That's what I used last year, and it worked.
Number 4.
Do the research, guys. I know that a lot of us really enjoy getting out there and just getting our hands dirty, winging it. That's a great plan a lot of the times. But honestly, if we're all being honest with ourselves, at least in my opinion, the more information we have, the better equipped we'll be to have success in our growing adventures. In the case of the celery, for me at least this past year, I learned real early that celery needs a ton of water. And I already know that I'm not the best at watering all the time during the summers. And so my solution to that was to get these water bottles with the tip on the end that lets, water kind of drip down in there. Now, if I hadn't gone and researched and found that out, I probably would have figured it out soon enough. But, I saved myself some time. I saved myself some aggravation. What you see here is an example of what happens to your celery when it doesn't get enough water. The stalks become thin, and mine were really tough and stringy. So even though the water bottles helped, it wasn't enough, and so I need to make adjustments this coming growing season.
Number 3.
know I keep harping on this, but I really believe it. Never give up. Keep on trying. This year, I grew so many crops that I had never, ever had success with, that I have started year and year again. Never had any success. And out of nowhere this year, man, my garden really came through for me. I was so excited. You do not want to be missing out on the feeling of conquering that one thing that used to elude you. And especially maybe if you have a year like I did this past year, you'll be able to conquer multiple things. Those aren't the best looking carrots you've ever seen, I know that, but they were edible and they were good. I also grew some onions. Were they the biggest? No, but they were delicious. And how about I grew 4 personal watermelons this year? How easy, it was so easy. Turns out I've been trying to grow really large watermelons in containers and it wasn't working for me. And so by switching to a dwarf watermelon, I was able to achieve my goal of growing delicious sweet watermelons. Now you tell me you wouldn't be excited about growing your first onions.
Number 2.
This was definitely a game changer for me. I started composting in place and I had success with everything I grew wherever I was composting in plates. So that's all the proof I need to continue doing that.
Number 1.
And my number 1 gardening tip for 2021 came from the Millennial Gardener. He did a video about growing early determinate tomatoes, and it made a world of difference for me. I think I already mentioned in a previous video that without these early determinate tomatoes, I would not have been able to put up as much as I did. And this was my first year being able to put up, and it was all due to these incredibly producing early determinate tomatoes. In my opinion, the flavor was there. They were definitely prolific. They lasted well into the season. They resisted a lot of pest pressure, and they stayed healthy for a really long time. I'm really excited to try these tomatoes in the new method that I'm doing my smaller, like your saladette tomatoes. I am now fermenting them with garlic and basil and salt, and it is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I think that, you know, later in the season when these tomato plants are putting on these smaller tomatoes, that these will fit great in my ball canning jars, and I will have so much of that fresh, homegrown, phenomenal sauce. I can't wait. All right, friends, that does it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe you learned something. I'll see you in the next one.